welcome to another video. Today I am actually kind of ill, so sorry if my voice goes a bit funny. I've got a really sore throat and a bit of a cold, but ignore that. Anyway, today, I was gonna say, I am doing my first ever unhaul. I don't really unhaul things very regularly. I feel like I'm a bit of a hoarder, especially when it comes to books. So this is my first ever one. I am in a position currently where my 3 shelves are all that fit in this room. So I did a bit of a purge to give myself a little bit more space. And also they're just books that I'm not ever going to read, or I've read and am never going to reread. So what is the point of me holding on to them? Really, there isn't one. So I'm getting rid of them. Also, you know, it's October and the reading season. I'm probably going to end up getting a lot of new books, especially with Christmas coming as well. So getting rid of books that I don't necessarily want or need or am planning on reading seems like a good idea right now. So I've purged a few of them. 15 books I am getting rid of today. That's actually quite a good number. So I'm quite pleased with my little number of 15. I will just get into it now, I suppose. The first 3 on this list probably shouldn't come as any surprise because I have said before that I have no interest in reading them, and that is the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children trilogy. These are all in brand spanking new condition. I've never read them and never plan on. My mum has read them all and I did kind of buy them for her, but she gave them back to me and I don't want to read them, so there's really no point in me holding on to them. Please don't now tell me I should, because I don't want to, and I don't think any amount of convincing and telling me that they're really good, you should read them, is going to make a difference, because I don't care for them at all. I have zero interest. I haven't seen the movie. I don't care for the books. It's just not gonna happen. So I'm gonna sell them probably, because it's a fantastic condition box set. Like, all the pictures and stuff are still in there. So yeah, I'll sell them on to someone who probably has more of an interest than I do. Just getting through the sets of 3, I've got another 3 here, which are the first 3 in a series, and the reason I'm getting rid of these is because I have duplicates, and that is the first 3 books in the Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire series. So A Game of Thrones, A Clash of Kings and A Storm of Swords Part 1. These are all individually bought, but I have the whole box set just on this shelf over here that you can't see. So I don't need duplicates of them when I have the whole box set. I got part way through A Clash of Kings and kind of gave up with the series, so I don't know if I will ever actually read the rest of them, but I will keep hold of that box set because in my future adult life I might. But yeah, I've got the whole box set, so I have zero need for them individually. Why am I holding on to them? Like, there's no point. Get rid of them, Jade. Save space. Now we're getting into individual books. This book I have started numerous times and have never finished, and I just need to accept the fact that I probably am never going to finish it. That is Little Wolves by Thomas Maltman. I started this book so many times, and as I say, I've never finished it. And for the amount of times I've starting it again, I'll still not finish it, so there's no point in me holding on to a book that I've got no interest in finishing. So why have I still got it? It's kind of a shame because it's a really pretty floppy book, but whatever. This is kind of a murder mystery meets Norse mythology, but from what I read, it was way more murder mystery, not enough Norse mythology for me to be enthralled. I don't know if maybe towards the end there is more of the Norse mythology aspect, but I can't be bothered to go through all the murder mystery I'm not interested in to get to something I am interested in. What's the point when there are so many other books on my shelves that I'm actually interested in reading the whole thing? I'm really sorry about my voice, by the way, if it sounded really croaky. I apologise. Next up is a book that I literally got when I was about 14. Read it when I was about 14. Have never read it since. So why do I still have it? I'm never going to reread it. Looking for Alaska by John Green. When I was 14 I liked this. I now have absolutely no interest in it. It's not my cup of tea anymore, so why is it still on my shelf? I don't know, so I'm just gonna get rid of it, and that gives me space for another book that I will actually want to read and enjoy and is more my thing now than me 6 years ago, you know? yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it at the time, but it's just not my thing anymore, and I'm never going to reread it, so what's the point in holding on to it? Next is a similar sort of situation, just a contemporary book that I'm never going to reread. Read it once, no interest in ever reading it again, so why am I holding on to it? Who knows? Eleanor and Park by Rowell. I don't really have much to say about this. This book is almost controversial. Like, there is quite a split between people that hate this book and people that love this book. And honestly, I don't think I fall into either category. Like, I recognise that it's problematic, but I kind of enjoyed myself whilst reading it, but I'm never going to read it again. And I don't particularly care for it very much, so I'm just gonna get rid of it and give it on to someone who will probably, you know, have more interest in holding on to it than I do, because I don't. So there's that. I feel like I'm really flying through these. Next up is a book that I mentioned in another video that I said I'm probably never going to read. It was a book that I got hold of for like £1, and that's the only reason I bought it. It was cheap. I'm never actually going to read it, so let's just get rid of Neptune's Tears by Susan Wagner. Kind of an interesting premise, futuristic love story, but I've got so many other books that I'm just way more interested in, and this doesn't really scream anything special to me, so I'm just not interested in holding on to it. I don't really have anything more to say than that. Like, I only ever bought it because it was cheap, not because it called to me in any particular manner, so what's the point in me holding on to it? My camera is behaving really funnily today, so sorry if this is a bit choppy. It keeps like cutting out, sorry. The next one on this list is another one that I got really cheap that I'm never going to read, and that is Unspeakable by Rushton. This is a contemporary about a girl who doesn't speak. And then she meets someone who might potentially help her to start speaking again. And really, it just doesn't sound very interesting to me. Again, I think I only bought it because it was really cheap, but I don't care for it at all. So again, pass this on to someone else who might want it more. I don't know if I'll sell it or donate it or whatever, but I've got no interest in keeping it, so I'm not going to. My camera just cut out again, like it's seriously messing up today. Sorry about that, so I can't remember what I just said, but I'm gonna move on. The next book on this list of books that I don't need to hold on to anymore is More Than This by Patrick Ness. I have had this book for a heck of a time. The one thing I think is really cool about this is that there's a hole in the cover, like, woo, so that it's like an open door. That's really cool. But again, this was a book that I got hold of when I was in high school, and I was into a very different thing back then. Now I really do not care for it, do not plan on reading it, have no interest in it. I'm sorry, Patrick Ness. I feel like this could potentially be a good book. It's got an interesting premise, like a boy drowns, desperate and alone, he dies, he wakes up, bruised and thirsty but alive. How can this be? What is this strange deserted place? Something to do with the afterlife. It sounds interesting to some people, but it's been on my shelf for honestly about 5 years. Why have I still got it? I'm never going to read it. So, you know, it's quite hefty. That makes space for another potentially better book. Next up is another book that I have absolutely zero interest in reading. From the moment I opened the box that this came in, I knew I had zero interest in reading it, and that is Roseblood by A.G. Howard. This is a Phantom of the Opera retelling. I got it in an owl crate. I don't care for it. I don't want to read it. I literally have zero interest in this book, so I don't need it. I'm never gonna read it. I mean, someone who's a fan of the Phantom of the Opera, which I'm not, might like it. I don't. I have no interest, thus no need to keep it, so purging it off my shelf. It's not gonna be there any longer. Next up is a book that I, again, have had for a really long time, never read. Again, it was one I got in high school when I used to be a really big fan of Michael McIntyre. Now don't get me wrong, I still like Michael McIntyre. I think he's a fantastic comedian and I love his DVDs and stuff, but I don't care for his autobiography. I'm not into autobiographies or any sort of non-fiction. I mean, I did read Frankie Boyle's autobiography, but I don't have it anymore because, you know, I didn't need to keep it. Again, I think I read like the first part of his life, but I've got no interest in keeping hold of this. I don't need it, so I'm gonna get rid of it because I'm never gonna read it. What's the point in me keeping hold of it? As much as I enjoy Michael McIntyre as a person and as a comedian, I don't have any interest in his book. And then The last one on this list that I don't want to keep is The Scrapbook of My Life by Alfie Deyes. I occasionally enjoy watching a bit of Alfie Deyes. His vlogs can be entertaining. I wouldn't say he's one of my favourite people. It was kind of boring to read. Like, it was written in handwriting, so it was really quick to read. Lots of sketches and doodles and stuff, and lots of blank space for the reader to fill in, which, needless to say, I didn't, because I didn't care. I read this because it was a gift, but I don't care to keep hold of it, and I'm sure there are fans of his out there that would rather have it than I, that might actually fill it in, because I didn't. So I don't need to keep it. Thus, I am not going to keep it. I'm not going to try and hold all them up, because 15 books is a big stack to try and hold, but they're just on a shelf down here ready for me to get rid of. There we go. First ever unhaul. I feel cleansed. My soul feels better. My bookshelf is now full of books that I am keeping for a reason. There is a reason behind me keeping it. I will say there is a full shelf on this set of shelves over here, very top one, that is questionable, and that is all of my Cassandra Clare books. I've only read the first Mortal Instruments. I'm keeping hold of them for now, but I don't know if that's going to be a long-term keeping hold of. I'm just not sure about that whole collection of books, because I don't think I'm ever going to read them all. But that's a topic for another day, I'm sure. I'm just going to leave it at those 15 for now. If any of these books are books that you have read and loved, sorry, but this is my opinion and you enjoy yours. Differences, I know, you know, are what make us human. Yeah, that's all I have for you today. I hope you have enjoyed me cleansing my soul of books that I don't need to keep. If you have, please give us a thumbs up, chat to me down in the comments about all sorts and everything, you know how that works. If you aren't subscribed and fancy subscribing, I'm always eternally grateful for that. I upload every Sunday and Wednesday and some odd days in between if feeling generous, and I will see you next time. Bye!